You've seen the Roman legions in triumph, marching through the Forum in gleaming armor, celebrated by the masses. The image of the Roman soldier is one of unstoppable might, of discipline and courage in the heat of a great battle. But what if that legendary image is a myth? What if the true story of a legionary's life had nothing to do with glory, and everything to do with grinding, relentless labor in the forgotten corners of the empire? This is not the story of a soldier who lives to fight, but of a man who lives to build. His life is a monotonous rhythm of physical punishment, constant vigilance, and back-breaking work. Far from the splendor of Rome, on the cold and unforgiving frontier, a legionary's day is a battle against the elements and against his own fatigue. The biggest threat is not the barbarian, but the endless monotony of building and marching, day after day. In this video, we will reveal the brutal reality behind the polished armor. We will walk with a legionary from sunrise to sunset, from the cold of the morning watch to the grind of the training field. What were the hidden, brutal tasks that truly defined the life of the soldier who held an empire together? Subscribe now, and we will show you what they don't tell you about the world's greatest army. The image of a Roman legionary is almost exclusively one of epic battles of shield walls crashing, swords clashing, and strategic victories against insurmountable odds. But this myth, so carefully cultivated by Roman chroniclers and Hollywood films, is a dangerous oversimplification. The truth is, for every hour a legionary spent in glorious combat, he spent days, weeks, or even months on grueling, back-breaking labor. The Roman army was not just a fighting force, it was the world's most disciplined and efficient engineering corps. A mobile construction unit that could build a fortress, a bridge, or an aqueduct with shocking speed. A Roman fort, known as a castrum, could be erected in a single day, a testament to this incredible productivity. For a legionary, combat was a rare and often terrifying exception. His daily routine was one of construction, building forts, digging ditches, paving roads, and erecting bridges. He was a builder, a laborer, and a military engineer, and his spade was just as important as his sword. The real genius of the Roman army was not in its battles, but in its relentless, grinding productivity. The empire was not just conquered by swords, it was held together by roads and garrisons built by the hands of its soldiers. To truly understand their struggle, you must first understand the political context and the location. Our story takes place on the northernmost edge of the Roman world, on the cold and windswept frontier of Britannia, at a fort along Hadrian's Wall. The purpose of these border forts was twofold: to protect the Roman-controlled territory from the wild barbarian tribes of the north, and to project the unassailable power of Rome. The fort itself, a perfectly planned rectangle of stone, wood, and turf, was a small piece of Rome transplanted onto a hostile land. Its walls, ditches, and gates were a constant reminder of Roman order in a world of chaos. Life inside the fort was a blend of military discipline and social existence. The garrison included not only the legionaries, but also their auxiliaries, support personnel, and the families and merchants who lived in a small settlement just outside the walls. The air was filled with a sense of constant tension, a quiet, underlying threat that the barbarians could appear over the horizon at any moment, shattering the hard-won peace with a raid or an all-out attack. A legionary's day began, not with the sun, but with the chilling sound of the buccina, a curved horn that announced the wake-up call before dawn. The soldiers, sleeping in a shared barrack room known as a contubernium of 8 men, would quickly rise, don their armor, and grab their weapons. The first task of the day was the morning formation, a meticulous inspection of every man and his gear. From the polished bronze of his helmet to the razor sharpness of his gladius, the standard breakfast was simple and quick: a hard biscuit of bread and a sip of sour wine. But this simple meal fueled a morning of labor. If not on patrol, the legionaries would be busy with the eternal tasks of maintenance. The fort's ditches always needed to be deepened, the palisade walls strengthened, and the roads repaired. It was tedious, back-breaking work, but it was essential. After the morning's tasks, the day shifted to the brutal grind of physical training. A legionary would practice with a sword and shield, twice as heavy as his standard equipment, running drills, and practicing maneuvers until he could execute them without thought. It was a constant cycle of sweat and exhaustion, all designed to make him a perfectly efficient soldier on the battlefield. The afternoon was for heavy labor. Building new structures, digging latrines, or even constructing entire roads and bridges to solidify Roman control of the land. By the evening, as the shadows lengthened and the cold winds began to blow off the hills, the work would stop. A simple meal of porridge and bread would be shared with his contubernarium, a time for gambling with dice, telling stories of home, and strengthening the bonds of brotherhood. But even then, the day was not over. The night watch was a duty that never ended. Every legionary took his turn, standing vigil over the fort, his eyes fixed on the darkness, forever on guard. What were the hidden, brutal tasks that truly defined the life of the soldier who held an empire together? What do you think was the most difficult aspect of a legionary's life? The physical labor, the constant danger, or the emotional toll of being so far from home? Tell us in the comments below, and stick around, because the most shocking truths are still to come. Our understanding of their daily routine is not based on speculation. It is pieced together from a wealth of evidence that speaks to their hidden lives. In the fort of Vindolanda, just south of Hadrian's Wall, a series of wooden writing tablets were discovered, preserving the private thoughts and feelings of the legionaries themselves. These aren't grand military histories, but personal letters. A soldier asking for a leave of absence, another asking for a pair of socks, and a simple birthday invitation. They reveal a side of the Roman army we rarely see, the human side. We also have the archaeological record. Excavations have uncovered the very tools they used: their shovels, their picks, and their surveying equipment. The remains of their leather tents, their sandals, and their personal belongings give us a tangible connection to their lives. And, of course, there are the Roman writers. The military historian, Vegetius, wrote a detailed manual on the Roman army, detailing its intense training and constant emphasis on discipline. He tells us that a Roman soldier was expected to march 20 miles in 5 hours with a full pack of 45 pounds, a grueling feat of endurance that was a part of their standard training. This was the routine that transformed a Roman citizen into the most formidable soldier in the ancient world. The legionary was more than just a soldier. He was a living symbol of Roman culture and order. In the remote corners of the empire, he was an emissary of civilization, bringing Roman laws, Roman customs, and the Latin language to a conquered people. For many young men, a career in the legion was a way out of poverty. It promised a guaranteed salary, the opportunity to earn plunder from campaigns, and, most importantly, the chance to gain full Roman citizenship. In the end, the glory of the Roman Empire was not built solely in the Senate of Rome, or in the grand monuments of the Forum. It was built on the cold and lonely frontiers, on the backs of disciplined men who lived a life of grinding monotony and constant vigilance. It was their discipline, their resilience, and their collective will to endure that held a sprawling empire together for centuries. It was their hard-won victories in countless small skirmishes and their unyielding labor on forgotten projects that allowed Rome to flourish. They are the unsung heroes whose story is often overlooked, but whose legacy is etched into every stone of Hadrian's Wall, every mile of a Roman road, and in the very foundations of Western civilization itself. What do you think? Do you see the legionary as a symbol of Roman power, or as a victim of the empire's brutal demands? Let us know in the comments. If you're fascinated by the hidden lives of the people who shaped the ancient world, subscribe and hit the notification bell. And click here to watch our next video. The secret daily life of a Roman empress. More than just togas and power.